My best friend's dream wedding turned into a nightmare, and now I'm stuck in the middle of the worst decision of my life. Let me preface this by saying I never thought I would be the kind of person to post on Reddit, but I have been sitting on this for weeks, and I need some perspective. So, here's the story. My best friend, Emily 27F, and I 28M have been friends since high school. We have been through everything together: awkward teenage years, first loves, breakups, bad jobs, you name it. I consider her my family, honestly. So when she asked me to be her man of honor for her wedding to Jason 29M, I was stoked. It was a no-brainer. She had been dreaming about this day forever, and I was beyond excited to be a part of it. Emily and Jason had been together for 5 years, and on the surface, they were the picture-perfect couple. They met in college, hit it off right away, and ever since, they had been inseparable. I got along with Jason too, though we were never super close. He was one of those guys who was always a little reserved, kept his distance, but never did anything to make me question his love for Emily. The wedding planning went smoothly at first. Emily had this grand vision of a beach wedding, with fairy lights, a live band, and all the bells and whistles. It was going to be a dream come true for her, and she deserved it. As her man of honor, I was involved in almost every detail, helping her pick out colors, coordinating with vendors, and even organizing her bachelorette weekend. Everything was going great until about 3 months before the wedding. One evening, I got a call from Emily, and she sounded off. She didn't come out and say it, but I could tell she was upset about something. We met up for coffee the next day, and after some prodding, she finally admitted that she had been feeling a little distant from Jason. She brushed it off as pre-wedding jitters, but I could tell it was more than that. I don't know, maybe it's just the stress, she said, stirring her coffee nervously. He's been working late a lot lately, and we haven't been spending as much time together. I'm sure it's nothing. I tried to reassure her. It's probably just the pressure of everything coming up. You guys are solid. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. A few weeks later, I ran into Jason at a bar. It wasn't a place I would normally expect to see him. He didn't drink much, and he wasn't the kind of guy who went out with friends regularly. He was sitting at the bar alone, looking like he was in a deep conversation with the bartender. I didn't want to intrude, but something about the whole thing felt weird. I decided to head over and say hi. Hey man, what's up? Didn't expect to see you here. Jason looked startled, almost like he had been caught doing something he shouldn't. He quickly composed himself, though, and greeted me with a forced smile. Oh, hey. Just needed a drink after work? You know, wedding stress. We exchanged some small talk, but the whole interaction felt tense. He was fidgety, checking his phone constantly. Eventually, I made an excuse to leave. The whole thing just didn't sit right with me, but I didn't say anything to Emily. I didn't want to worry her with what could have just been my imagination running wild. Then came the night that changed everything. About a month before the wedding, Emily asked me to come over and help with some final seating arrangements. Jason wasn't home, so it was just the two of us, sitting at her kitchen table, shuffling around little cards with names on them. We were laughing, joking about who would be the worst to sit next to who, when Emily's phone buzzed on the counter. She glanced at it and immediately went pale. Everything okay? I asked, sensing the shift in her demeanor. She didn't answer right away, just stared at her phone. I could tell something was really wrong. Emily, I asked again, more serious this time. Finally, She looked up at me, her eyes filled with tears. "It's Jason. I think. I think he's cheating on me." I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. What happened? She showed me her phone. It was a message from one of her co-workers, who had seen Jason out with another woman at a restaurant downtown. According to her friend, they weren't just having dinner, they were holding hands, looking very cozy, and definitely acting like more than just friends. I didn't want to believe it. Jason, the guy who had been head over heels for Emily since day one, it didn't make any sense. But Emily's co-worker had even snapped a photo, and sure enough, there was Jason, sitting across from a woman I didn't recognize, their hands entwined across the table. Emily was devastated. She was in shock, crying, and all I could do was sit there and try to comfort her, even though I was just as blindsided as she was. "Maybe there's an explanation," I suggested, trying to grasp at anything to calm her down. "You should talk to him." She nodded, wiping away tears. "I will. I don't know how." That night was one of the longest of my life. I felt sick to my stomach. How could Jason do this to her? How could he do this to us? I was supposed to be the man of honor at their wedding, and now I was caught in the middle of what felt like the end of their relationship. The next day, Emily confronted Jason. He denied it at first, said it was just a friend from work, that it wasn't what it looked like. But Emily wasn't buying it, and honestly, neither was I. The way Jason had been acting lately, the late nights, the weird behavior at the bar, it all added up. They had a huge fight, and Emily called off the wedding. Just like that. The dream wedding she had been planning for months, the life she had envisioned with Jason, gone in an instant. Now here's where things get even more complicated. After Emily broke things off, Jason came to me. He was a wreck, pleading with me to help him fix things. He swore up and down that nothing happened, that he had just been stupid, but that he never actually cheated. He begged me to talk to Emily, to convince her to give him another chance. And here's the kicker: I don't know what to do. Emily is my best friend, and I saw firsthand how broken she was after finding out about Jason's betrayal. But Jason, I don't know if he's lying, or if he's telling the truth. He seemed genuinely remorseful, like he had made a mistake, but didn't he want to lose her over it? I'm stuck in the worst position of my life. Do I help Jason try to fix things, knowing that Emily might never forgive me if it goes wrong, or do I stay loyal to my best friend and let her move on, even if Jason is truly sorry and wants to make it right? Every time I try to make a decision, I feel like I'm betraying one of them. And the wedding, the one that I was supposed to be standing beside them for, is now just a reminder of everything that has fallen apart. I don't know what to do. And I feel like no matter what choice I make, someone is going to end up hurt.